Hey guys, this is John Lee Hilliard from JT's Vending. Welcome back to our channel. For those of you who are already subscribed and just see the video, and welcome to all of you guys who don't know us and don't know what we do and what we talk about. We're a vending machine company, and our sole purpose is to use those vending machines to teach something tangible that everyone can kind of like put their hands on. Everyone knows vending machines. So we use those to teach financial literacy to those who need it to learn how to live off of less than what you make, set a budget, have a plan for your money so that you can build toward having something of your own. So, excuse me. Today, January 9th, will be the daily devotional, and it's called the Living Water. Whosoever believes in me, as scripture has said, rivers of living water will flow from within them. John chapter 7, verse 38. When Jesus promised rivers, not streams, not creeks, not ravines, but rivers of living water that flow not just into a believer, but from a believer. His hearers must have thought this was an offer that was simply too good to be true. In a desert land, how would it be possible to pour forth rivers from within? Jesus, of course, is promising a spiritual force that spills over from the abundance of his presence inside of us. His grace is given in such great measure that it flows in, through, and yes, even from us. When you think of our spiritual vitality, do you recognize the abundance of grace that is already to flow out from us? If you have been understanding the riches you have been, the riches you have in and through Christ, now is the time to let your faith grow in all that you have been gifted. Wonderful Savior, thank you for our spiritual riches that are mine through knowing you. So that was the daily devotional. And this video will be pertaining to the 12 lies that people tell themselves when they're in debt. This is what I hear a lot, and I'll go over them real quick and then I'll shoot back and explain each one about the lie. So, sorry, had everything wrote down. Typed up. Okay. All right. These 12 lies. So we'll start with lie number 12. Lie number 12 is getting out of debt isn't possible. We know that's we know if you're watching our videos or watch any of them, we know that's a lie. That's lie number 12. Lie number 11, you need a credit score for emergencies. My credit score is 0. Don't need it. Lie number 10, you don't need your spouse to be on the same page. If you're married and you're trying to get out of debt, trust me, take it from me. I've been through it. You need your wife. Wives, you need your husbands to help you with this. Lie number 9, debt isn't a big deal. Lie number 8, not using debt is a scary lifestyle change. Lie number 7 is I want it and I want it now. Lie number 6, you need to keep up appearances. Lie number 5 is having a budget limits your freedom. Lie number 4, the sacrifices aren't worth it. Lie number 3, you don't have enough money to live debt free. Lie number 2, I have plenty of time to plan for my financial future. And lie number 1, the number 1 lie that I always hear from people when I'm speaking about a budget is debt is normal, or even debt is helpful. So, just hearing all those different lies that people tell themselves and how they, give themselves a bunch of excuses about why they won't get out of the situation they're in. and they don't even understand that those lies that they're telling themselves, they're learned behaviors. Because now it was hard for me to 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 relearn everything I needed about money in order to do better financially. I had to relearn all this stuff, and I had to wipe out all of the old mindset that I had of, you know, oh, I grew up doing this. Well, that's what got me broke. So let's start with number 12. Getting out of debt just isn't possible. We know that's a lot. That's possible. You can get out of debt. You have to have a budget to get out of debt. You have to have a plan for your money. And in the upcoming few videos, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to show from a practical standpoint how to start with the first step of like setting a budget and having a plan. But it's possible for you to get out of debt. Um, you can list your debt from smallest to largest, like Ramsey always say. You can Google Dave Ramsey's financial peas. You can Google. There's plenty of things to get out of debt. It's just you don't want to get out of debt. So then you lie to yourself and make it feel better. Um, so that's number 12. Number 11 is you need credit. You need credit cards for emergencies. You know, and I try to tell people we don't have credit cards. We live just fine, but people get in a habit of bad money habits, and then they have car trouble, emergency, out of groceries, emergency, Christmas toys, emergency, and they, I want to go out, emergency, and then they rack up so much debt. When that credit card bill come, they add on another 20 to 24% interest on top of what you spent, and you're like, man, I can't pay that. Now you're trying to you borrowed money so you can have a good time or you can do things instead of having your own cash saved up and using that as an emergency. Lie number 10: you don't need your spouse to be on the same page. This is clear. Teaching from biblical principles. There are things that a husband and wife have to do together. And finances, raising children, are just two of the main things. You have to do those together. You can't have a philosophy of raising your children this way, and then your husband said, "No, I want to raise them this way." Now y'all back and forth, butting heads. Same with finances. You have to be on the same page. You have to work together, not girlfriend and boyfriend, because she can leave you for another dude. He can leave you for another woman. If, so if you're not married, you put your finances together, and you go, "Oh, he gonna be me forever," and then he leave you. Now you're at zero. You did all that work to get him out of debt, and now he's out of debt, and now you still in debt, and you're like, "Well, ain't nobody help me." Well, because you weren't married, so you tried to tie your horse. You tried to tie everything to him, and he was leaving, or her, and she left you. So if you're married, you have to get both of you all have to be on board with this. That's how you build generational wealth. The mother and the father is on the same page and pushing the same thing to the children and working on this, saving and budgeting together. Um, Line number 9: debt isn't a big deal. To me, it's a big deal because every month I'm paying off debt, and I'm in a situation where I'm constantly. I don't have the money to pay the debt, but I need to buy my groceries. I need to pay for my food. Lie number 8: not using debt is a scary lifestyle change, and it can be scary from personal experience. Not using credit cards, not you know essentially going opposite of everything you learned growing up. I saw my parents pay car notes. I saw my parents, rob Peter, pay Paul. I saw my parents, use credit cards. So it became a normal thing, and I never, for a second in my life, thought that I could live without using those things, without borrowing money, without having car payments, without having credit cards. I was afraid, and I'm here to tell you guys, as someone who came from nothing, didn't come from finances, didn't come from budgeting, didn't come from money, and having the ability to where I am now to do the things that I can do now with my family, don't be afraid. Push that fear out of the way. The fear kind of stops you from focusing on what you can do. So you can live a life um, without having debt. And that lifestyle change, it's only scary momentarily, but when it happens, it's an outstanding feeling. Lie number 7: I want it, I want it, and I want it now. That's the big issue, because a lot of people do that buy now, pay later, and you don't look at you're paying a higher percentage of what you would have paid for it. Just say, from my personal experience, rent a center. I wanted to rent a PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4 when they was coming out because I didn't have the money, and they were in the store. They were $200-$300, $250. But if you would get it from rent a center, it's 500 at $40 a month payment plus interest if you're late, and you end up paying, instead of five, you end up paying $900 for a $300 system that you could have just bought. But that was me though. I wanted to do it. I just didn't because I didn't want to pay all that money. But um, you know, saying that you need the money and you need it now, that's that impulse, and that's that YOLO mindset of, well, I need this. If I don't have this, I can't survive. Yes, you can. You don't want to. So you put your wants before your needs, and then you go broke when your bills come, and then you cry, woe is me, I got no money. Well, you probably shouldn't have spent it on stupid stuff. Um, that's slide number 7. Lie number 6, um, you need to keep up appearances. That falls back into 7. You want it when you want it. You don't need to keep up appearances. You don't need to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. Just be yourself. Live comfortable. Live off less than what you make. You don't have to see your coworker get a new car. So now you want a new car, and you're willing to pay $600-$700 a month that you can't afford to try to pay it. So just try and be yourself. Don't follow others just because it looks cool. I know, so many people that would spend, I mean, they brag about themselves spending hundreds of thousands, of dollars on Jordans so they can have a collection. For what? Just so you can say, oh, I got the number 9s, I got the number 4s, I can go to Burger King or McDonald's and say, give me a number 4, give me a number 1. It's irrelevant. You're bragging about someone else's brand, and you're broke. You live in paycheck to paycheck, and you feel that you can keep up with appearances. And the only thing that happens is if you spend that money on some new Jordans and you put them on your feet, momentarily you feel good. You go around some people and they go, "Ooh, those Jordans look nice," and then they own about their business. And all they said to you was those Jordans look nice, and you just spend $500 to look fake rich, or to what you feel like is impressive. So you do not have to keep up with appearances, because you can see by my videos, I don't. I live that in my personal life. I don't. My wife be getting on me sometimes, like, John, put on some better clothes. Why? They clean. All right, line number 5. Line number 5 is having a budget limits your freedom. That's a lie. That's one of those lies that are seriously pushed on poor people so they can borrow more money. And we all know that the borrower is slave to the lender. That's what they do to get people to borrow more money and to go further in debt. Because the more the more strict your plan is with your money, which is a budget, it doesn't limit your freedom. It actually tells you how much freedom you have, and how many choices, and how much control you have. If you have your budget set, that means your money has a plan. Every dollar in your bank account, every dollar that comes in has a job to do. So therefore, you know what money is doing what at all times. And it seems like a lot, but it's really not. I keep up with mine in a notepad because I like to write stuff down, and use QuickBooks or any kind of little app. Just type it in. Use your banking account information and just type it in, and it'll do the work for you. Line number 4: the sacrifices aren't worth it. that I only heard it. I've heard it more than I thought I would, but it's crazy that poor people will listen to so many lies about get rich quick schemes before they listen to someone who's talking about being setting a budget, being persistent, investing slowly over time. I don't know what it is. It's their mindset. Like they're looking for the quick fix to build wealth, and it's not a quick fix to build wealth. You have to be intentional, and they spend hundreds of dollars at the lottery just trying to hit a lick, as they say, trying to hit a few $1,000,000. You're not gonna win, but you spent $800-900 that you don't have, and you're supposed to be taking care of your bills and buying food, but you went on to the lottery or the casino so you can hit big or flip the money because your mindset is so driven to poverty that you think any extra penny I can get on top of my money, I'm okay. And you don't even realize to just invest it. So, you know, skipping vacations until you're out of debt, stop eating out like we did, skipping vacations, stop trying to make up excuses why your children need $800 worth of toys for Christmas. Man, they don't care. They're kids. They'll play. They'll go to. You can go to Dollar Tree and get them toys, and they'll be just as happy with those toys than you spending. You going broke trying to impress your kids and give them something that you didn't have. Obviously, you don't have financial literacy, so you probably should give them that instead of toys. But the sacrifice is worth it, guys. I know I'll be getting off into a rant, but the sacrifice is so worth it. Having that peace of mind to where you know, no matter what happens, financially, your family is covered. That's where I am. So, and you can get there too, but you have to, like I said in a previous video, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So if you don't believe you can, then you can't. If you do, then you can do it. You just have to be patient. Lie number 3 was you don't have enough money or I don't have enough money to live debt free. Increase your income. And you do have the money to live debt free. You can do Grubhub, DoorDash. You can pick up a side hustle. You can work overtime. If you're working in a warehouse and you're watching this video, you can work overtime. You can work DoorDash. You can work extra shifts at your job. You can do something to bring in some extra income. Because I guarantee you, if you sit down and look at your schedule and you take out all your video game hours, all of your um, hanging out time, all of your sitting down drinking time, take out all that and then insert working or learning a skill, I guarantee you, you can increase your income by doing that. But a lot of times we go, man, I need to sit down and relax. You broke. Right now is not the time to relax. Right now is the time to get out of debt, to get an emergency fund. So when a winter storm come your way, your lights go out, you're not woe is me crying and going crazy because you got to wait on your paycheck because you didn't save your last paycheck or anything from your previous paychecks because you want to look fake rich. So no, like you do have the money to get out of debt and to live debt free. If you have no debt, where's your money going? So anyway, um, lie number 2 is I have plenty of time to plan for my financial future. Excuse me. No, you don't. I'm 38 years old, and it took me the entire 12 years to comprehend what I was missing. And I hate that it took me so long, but no one taught me this at a young age. That's why I teach my 2-year-old and my 12-year-old. That's why I teach them now about money and finances and budgeting. Because at some point, this stuff needs to be second nature to them. It needs to be like breathing, to where when they get money, they know what to do with it. What are the 3 things you can do with money? Spend, save, and give. My son already knows this at 12. And my children will already know how to budget and how to set things up when they become adults so that They won't be crawling and begging and me having to provide for them when it's time for me to chill. It's time for me to do what me and my wife want to do when they are 18 and out of the house. But I want to make sure I'm not just kicking them out at 18. I'm teaching them up until 18. And then when they go off on their own, then that's fine. But I wouldn't dare tell my children they got to get out and didn't teach them the things they need to survive in this world, like budgeting and finances, so they won't go broke. So anyway, um, you don't have plenty of time. You know, life is short, and when people say they got plenty of time, they're truly just procrastinating because they don't want to do the hard thing, and that hard thing turns into generational poverty because if your children see you giving up and like whatever you'll wait, what do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna wait and they're gonna give up and they're gonna say, "Well, my mama did it." Well, that don't mean it was right. So the number one lie that I've hear and heard yesterday, day before, is debt is normal or helpful. It's okay to have a car payment. It's okay to have a student loan. It's not okay. And I know hearing that sounds weird, and you go, "Well, what? It's not okay because all of that money, all of those payments on things that you don't have to be in debt with, they make you feel like you're being buried alive. Each month, you're looking at those bills and you're overwhelmed, and you're like, how do I get out of this? Student loans and car payments and credit cards. Oh, I got a good credit score. You got a good credit score to borrow other people's money to buy something that you don't need, to try to impress people that you don't even know or like, and then you have to repay that money for the item that you bought or don't even use anymore. So it's a never-ending cycle. That credit score just tells people how well you can handle debt, how well you can manage your debt. If you're like me, I had 3 payday loans. I went as dumb as you probably could go with loans, even as far as borrowing money from my friends, borrowing money from my family. I just borrowed whatever, and you know, I struggled to get from under it. And when I finally got from under it, I said, no more. I can't. I decided I can't do it. Debt cannot be normal. This cannot be a normal way of life, to be this stressed out over having to sit down and decide, man, I only got $800 on my paycheck. I got to pay my utility bill. I got to pay my daycare. I got to pay my car note. I got to pay student loan. I got to pay this. I got to pay credit card bill. That's too much. That was too much. So we simplify things. So that's all we ask you guys to do. We don't force this. We don't force financial literacy, anything on anybody. But you, I don't even get mad when I talk to people and they go, man, look, my parents had this and they used that, they borrowed this and got this. Well, hey, more power to you. Congratulations. Keep doing what you're doing. And if it works, it works. And when it don't, it don't. And then just don't be angry that you're broke or in a horrible financial situation and you've been telling yourself these 12 lies. So, our goal here is to not to be is to be intentional about the things we share on this YouTube channel, so you guys can understand you can get out of debt. You can do what I did and what I'm doing right now. Like, I'm not a special person. I'm just a person who grew up, and was dealt a bad hand in life. I was dealt a rough hand, like most of us are. And I had to realize that in this life, it's not about having a great hand in life. It's about playing a bad hand well. That's all I have done. I have played a bad, rough hand well. And I'm gonna continue to play it well. and I do not make excuses when I mess up. My wife, she know I mess up all the time. I fail at things, but then I believe that all work works. So when I mess up, that's a lesson. I go, okay, John, you need to focus on this. You need to fix this to where it's less error. Then I go, okay, let's try it again. Do this. Now that's getting smaller. Okay, cool. Less error right there. Okay, now let me try that again in another way. And now it's even less error, less room for error. But that's my process. I teach the children in our class, I teach my son, my daughter, the definition of learning is doing something that you don't know how to do while you're doing it. And I guarantee you it'll change your life. But the moment you sit there and get knocked down and you cry, boo hoo, woe is me, the government finna shut down. I don't care. It's irrelevant. If you're not living on government assistance and you're out here working, you should be budgeting. You should be planning. You should have a plan for your money and an emergency fund so when the government shuts down, you got cold hard cash. That's how it works. That's all we do. We don't make a crap ton of money, especially me. My wife makes more than me, but I budget. That's it. I just budget. I budget. I spend the money on the things that I need. I take care of 4 walls, and then our wants they definitely come last. And my wife, if she could tell you, she has to make me buy stuff for me because my goal as a provider is to provide for my wife and my 2 children. Me, I got socks and underwear for Christmas. And I'm glad. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Sorry for ranting so long. I just hear those 12 lies so much. I want to reiterate about how important they are. You can go back in the video, rewatch it, and see if it makes sense to you. If you have any questions, comments, please comments. Put your comments in the comment section down below, and we would truly try to respond as fast as we can. But we're trying to plant that seed of financial literacy to help other people build that financial aptitude so that you can take control of your life. Like I have more control of my life than I've ever had. Out of my 38 years on this earth, I have more control of my life and the things that I choose to do or choose not to do now because I'm not at the mercy of the almighty FICO score and credit score and credit cards and payday lenders and payday loans. I'm not as anyone debt. The only one right now that I serve is my Heavenly Father. And I serve him by providing for my family and serving other people in my community. That's it. So thank you guys again. Sorry for ranting. Au revoir. À bientôt. À la prochaine.